folks, welcome to my Super Chat. Thank you for being here. Welcome, everyone. We have a lot to talk about. I was not going to do a show. I usually don't do shows on the weekend. Everybody knows that about me.
Yeah.
If you watch me, you know that. But
you just can't let this information go. You can't just sit here and let this sit another day. So we have to go on. The show must go on. So we're bringing you a great show tonight. Pertinent information. Stuff you won't get anywhere else. I tell you. And I'm not going to spill the beans on what's going on. But there's been a lot going on. You know, if you look at the title, which, you know, the Paloma is at the White House. Shocking to us all. You know, after all the exposure and the witnesses coming forward for this, these events to happen like this, it's something we got to talk about. So we're going to bring you a lot of information and a discussion on a Super Chat, so your discussions will be heard too.
So what everyone is talking about, as I'm sure you know, is that Paloma was at the White House. You like my shirt? Thank you. I'm trying to stay warm, and I am drinking hot tea.
You know, weather changes in North Dakota and Minnesota. I mean, as soon as it was
fast,
it was like 90 degrees, and all of a sudden it went down to 50. It got wet and cold and windy, and it's like it does a number on your health when you acclimate to warmer weather, and all of a sudden it becomes cold. So you know, it tends to do all of us in a little bit, and then we got to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, and I've gotten sick, so I feel like, you know, congestion and headache, and I've kind of been out of commission. I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. So for everyone that has been telling me to go to the doctor, it's on the schedule. Done and done. In the meantime, I was just going to like chill and recover. Even as I'm talking to you right now, I have this weird echo in my ear that's driving me nuts. But, hey, I could tell from your questions and from your nonstop messages, phone calls, etc., that all of you were very confused and very upset about what is happening. And I felt like I needed to come on here and settle everyone down, calm everybody down, and explain what the hell is going on. Mrs. Red Badger recommends chicken soup. Let me tell you. let me first tell you what I'm actually hooked up with here, Mrs. Red Badger. I'm actually hooked up with bone broth. Yeah. I got bone broth.
Beef bone broth.
Beef bone broth with chickpeas, onion, lemon juice, avocado, lime juice, avocado.
And some chives.
Onion and chives.
And
that was it, right?
Yeah, it was really good.
There's a whole bunch of stuff in there.
I was like, went to the store to find cow bones to boil down to get the marrow and and I'm in the soup aisle, and it's like, hey, there's some beef bone broth right here. This is exactly what she needs, and it won't take me 3 hours to make. And it's a product I've never seen, and it tastes really good because it's basically rendered down cow bones. And so you get all that marrow and all those nutrients from the bone of the cow. So when you're not feeling well and you need a soup, chicken soup is good. They actually have chicken bone broth too. You don't imagine making soup with that. But you can just take the broth and make a little soup out of it, and it doesn't take that long. And it's full of nutrients, and it'll help build your body back and help fight off the respiratory illness and the sinuses and all those things, So I got that for Cindy, and I have her on day 2 of beef bone broth, as well as tea made with turmeric and ginger and lime and this weed. It's a Mexican weed, godorbo, and it's like a thistle. And that's really good for respiratory issues, too. So I've been making teas out of that with some honey in it. So she's been being nursed doing that left and right. I was surprised she was going to do a show today, but she said this morning that I got to say something today. I just got to say something. I can't just let this stuff sit. We can't sit here and watch Paloma parade around at the White House without holding her accountable or trying to hold her accountable. And the people around her need to hold her accountable. I mean, it's like, this is amazing that she's doing that. She thinks she's on the top of the world. She's been vindicated. She's in the United States. I didn't think she'd come back in the United States and just crawl into her hidey hole. But somehow she managed to manipulate some people to the point of being able to get a free ride to the White House and go hang out with Trump, and represent the Latinos in America, which is disgusting,
It's a disgrace.
Yeah, it's a disgrace.
It's a disgrace.
That's a better word than what I was saying.
And people are very upset about it. And I had to calm a lot of people down because, people were sending me videos and messages and blah, 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 and I was trying to explain and, trying to give people the summary. And then I thought, the heck with it. Let's just do a super chat and explain the chat with people and do the chatting.
Yeah.
I'm doing it individually with people. I'm losing my voice trying to talk to everyone. And I'm like, let's just get it out of the way, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just talk. Okay, so first off, I got all your messages about the White House visit by Paloma. You may have seen her pictures on social media with a long black gown and her USA hat. Here is one of the many photos she put up. There was also some videos. Here's a screenshot of her video with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also this one. She's not wearing her hat in that one.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't wear a Paloma for Trump hat. I don't think I've ever seen her actually wear a Paloma for Trump hat in the White House.
Yeah.
I think that even in her pendejismo, she's self-aware enough to know that he would look at her and go, what the hell is on your head?
Really?
Who gave you authorization to do
Exactly.
that? And then, boom, she'd be done. So I don't think she'll ever wear a Paloma for Trump hat to the White House.
Yeah, I don't think she's even selling them anymore. So I went to her webpage and she just has Trump hats. And the USA hat and the one that he signed, it said USA on it. It was a red hat, baseball cap with USA. And she has it on her website. One like I wore at the White House that the president signed. I thought, oh, you're not selling the actual one he signed. You're just selling ones that like you were wearing. For $21, you can get this hat. And it's like, yeah, right.
Wow. That's pretty low.
Yeah.
Overpriced hats. Full Metal Mexican asks, how did Paloma get into the White House with her warrants and all? Secret Service really screwed up this time.
Mm-hmm.
And Sell My Body for Trump says, David let me in. I treated David Basulto. Wink. That's why I got in the White House with a bench warrant for my arrest. You're all jealous. Tamales and Duke. No. Duke, no. This is Sell My Body for Trump. Saying this again. Tamales and Duke, no, are just jealous.
Oh, yeah, right.
Duke wanted me, and I said no. Duke, no.
No. Duke, no. I say no.
Oh, my God. I don't even know if I have the energy to laugh at these.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you what I know. Diana says, wow, those she, of all people in the White House. Yeah, I know. Someone needs to let him know what she really is about. Diane, I think he already does. Karen says, I can't believe that she was allowed in the White House. Everyone is sitting there wondering why. Thank you, Mary Tando.
Thank you,
She
Mary.
got in through David. Yes, she did, Mary Tando. Hope he's not sleeping with her. Me too, Mary. Me too. I'm very concerned about it. Does she know he's... What? Oh, she's married. Yes. I think everyone knows, and I think everyone knows that her husband doesn't care. Yeah, she doesn't care, but her husband doesn't care. That's the most important part. A lot of the folks that I've talked to that slept with Paloma, that knew that she was married, had heard some version of, I've been with him my whole life, since I was like a little kid, and he's been around all this time. Thank you, Mrs. Red Badger. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, well, I was very concerned for all of you. There was like a flurry of activity.
Yeah.
People were very, very upset, and I thought, okay, I need to help. I need to say something. There were other pictures that she posted, of course, with this David Basulto and friends. Here's another picture. This is Jesse Holguin. I'm remembering these names. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit slow tonight, folks. I am not feeling my 100. But this is Jesse Holguin in the wheelchair, and next to him is David Basulto.
Oh, okay.
And of course, you all recognize Paloma4Fraud, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then there's a Legsit sticker there for everyone, so you can read it. It's a Legsit. It's posted on the Legsit, a Legsit thing. They're there for Legsit. They're with Legsit.
Yeah, Legsit.
That's for Latino exit, in case you didn't know what
see.
that means,
I
Duke.
see.
It's Latino exit, yeah. And David was the person that got her in, the person that allowed her to come in. I say that because David and possibly and probably Jesse both know about the complaints people have made, victims of Paloma have made to Legsit. More than one person, as you can imagine. Just look at the number of people that I have talked about, interviewed, the number of victims. Times that by 2, because you know that there's a bunch of victims that haven't talked yet, plus other victims that haven't even come forward. So, around 20 people, give or take, probably more.
Yep.
I mean, she is in her 40s. She's had a lot of time to, extort, do all the things that she does. This is not something that she just picked up last week, what she does, how she does this. This is not something that she just picked it up last week. This is something that is learned. This is something that is practiced. This is something that is honed like a skill, like a missile. That's what this woman does, what she is capable of. And do we have any more of those pictures, or is that all?
Yes, we do. Oh, no. We have some.
Okay, let's go through all of them.
There's 2 more. There's like these really bad, almost selfie style of Trump and Paloma in the background. There's her USA hat. Evidently that was before it was signed. And then this one is her actual selfie that she's real proud of. Whoop, wrong direction. There we go. It's right here.
Are they the same picture?
No, there you go. I finally got it. I don't know why it keeps disappearing.
There you go.
There it is. That's the one where...
That's a screen capture of the video.
Oh,
basically.
Okay. Well, that's what I saw on there. It looked like one of her selfies.
I think she took a selfie and then she took a video.
Okay. Okay, that's what it is.
And then
that's it.
it looks like when he realized that it was a video, he was like, bye. I'm out.
I'm out.
But don't forget, she went there with a guy in a wheelchair. Now, I don't know if you've paid attention to politicians since all of history and all of time. But what they typically do when they walk into a room is they will look for veterans, elderly people, babies, people in wheelchairs. And they'll make a beeline for those folks, right? Because those are the folks that you want to see a president be compassionate and kind to. This is, this is what statesmen do. They walk up to, the people that represent, the extremes in our society, our service members, our disabled people, our elderly, our children, etc. Right?
Right.
It's typical. Of course, he also takes selfies and pictures with everyone else. But I know that part of what attracted the president to that group of three was the guy in the wheelchair, right? Yes, Stephanie, she does have some chutzpah.
I wonder what that word was. Thank you for the donation.
Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the support. I am working hard to feel better. And I want to break everything down for you that happened because there's more to the story. And the Mexican crossing lines is the only person that can really explain all of this to you. Okay. Full Metal Mexican says, "You are strong and beautiful lady, Mary Tando Quintanilla. I respect you for standing up to that bully." Yes, I agree. And I feel that a lot of the women, a lot of the men that have come forward, they should all be commended for their bravery and for their, not just for their bravery, the hope that they're giving to other people. Because as you see, more and more people keep coming forward, right? Alexa, which was the most recent persons that came on the show, and Mary Tando, both were being threatened by one of Paloma's friends. I, too, as you know, Duke, from the, a dozen or so emails in quick fire fashion that were sent to us by Krista.
Oh, yeah.
We were also chewed out / tongue lashed / threatened as well.
Yeah.
So coming out means that you're visible, that you're on my platform, that you're listened to, that the victims get a voice, and that they're embraced, and that they are given unity and a sense of support. There is also people out there that do not want that because of their own trauma, because of their own lack of objectivity, because of their short-sightedness, because of their own baggage, because of their inability to cope, because of their own personal problems. For many, many reasons, there are folks out there who just cannot stand to see the victims coming together, building unity, sharing information, overcoming obstacles, and healing. You know who you are. I am not going to talk about it today, but I have had it out with some of these folks and said, this is how it's going to go on my show. No amount of tantrums, threats, etc. are going to change my format or the way in which I develop a case, a story, present it, because it's successful, because it works. Using this formula, using this method, talking to people the way I do, and following how a person puts together evidence as if I were presenting it to a court, to a jury, to a judge. It's in my training. It's what feels natural. It's effective. And it provides a force for good, a way to get justice from media that you can't get in the courtrooms, or that many times the wheels grind so slowly and for so long that it feels hopeless. Michael Shapiro, why, thank you. We got a donation from Michael. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Michael.
Let me tell you, the number of victims continues to pile up. And what I can tell you about my experiences doing this kind of work in the past is that the way I am doing this, it works. And the things that these predators, because that is what Paloma is, she predates on her victims. She seeks new victims out. The way that these predators are exposed also looks very similar. the pattern of their behaviors is very similar. For those of you watching my Super Chat or listening to the sound of my voice right now that have been following my work for the past 3 years, that know how I exposed Mulaney Stoneman, Bill Runningfisher, Ed Higgins, Mike Fasig. The list goes on and on and on and on of the people that I exposed on my show for the frauds that they were, for the predators that they were. It took a long time. There were some powerful forces behind them. We later came to learn that those powerful forces included politicians and political parties, media allies, and big money, corporate money, NGO money, UN money, USA aid money. We came to learn that yes, criminals and thugs like Evan K. Duke, that yes, criminals and thugs, liars, pretenders, people that commit fraud online to the tune of thousands and thousands of dollars, like Terrence Daniels, like Marcus Mitchell, so many of the people we have exposed right here on my show, that they are working for, funded by people in politics. Tribal politics, state politics, congressional politics, geopolitics. That's the part where I come in as a Mexican crossing lines, because I am constantly looking at what's happening on both sides of the border, and I come here. I come to my American audience. I speak to the people in Mexico as well, so that they can see what I see that they don't normally look at, that you take for granted as Americans. And that is the geopolitics and what Paloma is doing and who it's benefiting. That's what you need to ask yourself. Who is this benefiting? Did you have any more pictures, or were you done with your pictures?
I was done with the pictures.
You were?
Yep.
You promise?
Yep. I had to put them
Okay.
on. Just checking out the storm here, making sure we're not in danger.
Yeah, we have another storm happening right now. It's been raining. Oh, shoot. That was a loud one. Mm-hmm. I felt the floor move on that thunder. Okay, guys.
If we have to suddenly go, we'll let you know. But I'll monitor the radar while we're doing the show, too.
Come wind or snow or shine or whatever. We're here.
That's right.
We're here to provide you information. Now, I am going to explain who it benefits. But I'm going to tell you a story from Standing Rock because it's important. There was a lot of people that the behavior of Paloma applied to. People that were arrested in the state of North Dakota that were not allowed to leave the state, that were flying around the world. Chase Iron Eyes. Mm-hmm. There were people that got arrested that were facing years in prison, that were let out on bail, while Kathleen Bennett, the woman that we exonerated, sat in a jail cell for 6 months before we were able to get her bail. The other people I'm talking about were also facing lengthy prison sentences like Chase Iron Eyes and others, but they were flying around the world. They were going on press junkets as if they didn't care about the outcome, as if they weren't worried about what would happen to them. Remember Mike Fasig?
Oh, yeah.
Remember Marcus Mitchell? Mm-hmm. Both of them. Marcus Mitchell is still in prison right now. In federal prison. Marcus Mitchell.
No, Michael Marcus.
Sorry, Michael Marcus. Well, they have such similar
Michael
names.
Marcus
Mitchell. Michael Marcus. Anyway, Michael Marcus is right now in prison. He's in jail right now. But while he was on bail, he was going from town to town to town, and you could tell they were partying.
Oh, yeah.
They took people with them that you knew were on drugs.
Yeah, they're on junkets. You know, you could tell they were being funded, embossed, and on a mission for somebody else's propaganda. And they were the influencer of the social justice movement of Standing Rock. You know, for the indigenous movement of people, you know, standing up for sovereignty. And they were the biggest criminals around. You know, they were all criminals. And
meanwhile, Meanwhile, Kathleen Bennett couldn't leave the state. Kathleen Bennett couldn't even get bail.
Yep.
Kathleen Bennett couldn't get any kind of support. And these other people who had previous criminal records, who were former felons, who had been drug runners like Menape, these people like, what do you need?
Yep.
What can we get you?
Yep.
Then we see people like Menape, who used to be the money collector for a gang that sold methamphetamines. I think he went to prison for 6 years.
Yeah.
We see him at the UN handing out an award to the kingpin that put Mary away, Kathleen away, Christina Hollenbeck.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you the anger I felt when I saw these people who had put this woman away in jail in Washington, D.C., dancing around teepees, celebrating next to the monuments. I couldn't tell you how angry I was. I was like, what the hell is going on? And this was happening. They were going on trips to there, and then after that to Hawaii.
Yep.
These are people from the poorest reservation in the country. These are supposed to be the poorest people in a first world country. And yet they're traveling around thither and yon like nothing is happening. We know from the witnesses that have come forward that Paloma4Fraud apparently doesn't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out with. Somebody even has to buy her chones because she don't have none. She's always wearing that black tank top because she doesn't have a lot of other clothes. It's the same thing that she wore in the video that went viral. And if you'll recall, in the video where she pushes the child, she also brags about making him pee his pants and laughs at him.
Yep.
Play that Conservative Facts video. This is not my video. Credit to Conservative Facts, whoever they are. And this is the video in which they break down that Paloma pushed this little boy. Of course, you'll recognize the clothes because she almost always wears mini skirts and a tank top.
Yep.
This is her go-to wardrobe for every day. Back in June, Duke, read it.
We saw different angles.
This is in
Did
June.
Pat touch and push a boy? Did Paloma touch and push a boy?
¡Vámonos! ¡Vámonos! ¡No pueden entrar! ¡Se regresan! ¡Vámonos!
No shortcuts,
¡Vámonos!
no
¡Se regresan! ¡No pueden entrar! ¡Aquí no es tu país! ¡Se regresan! ¡Se regresan!
Shame on you.
¡No! ¡Aquí
You're
no
not
puedes
welcome
entrar!
in Las
¡Tienes que
Vegas.
entrar con papeles! ¡No! ¡Tienes que entrar con papeles! ¡No! ¡Tienes que entrar con papeles! ¡Aquí no es tu país!
At Conservative Facts, we're against illegal immigration, especially against children being trafficked across our borders. We don't condone the harassment of children. Watch again.
Shame on you.
¡No! ¡Aquí
You're
no
not
puedes
welcome in
entrar!
Las
¡Tienes que entrar con
Vegas.
papeles! ¡No! ¡Tienes que entrar con papeles! ¡No!
Slows it down so it freezes. The guy's right in front, but she was hanging on to the boys and
¡No! ¡Tienes que
slowly.
entrar con
Yeah,
papeles!
it shows her pushing.
Yeah. Paloma4Trump admits to physically pushing and states that the child peed his pants.
Perfectly trained.
Oh my God.
I physically pushed him. Like he was like, nope.
Good job. Border Patrol.
Look at her. Oh, yeah.
So that,
I pushed
so what was that? 5 people total? 6?
Four.
Four?
Three men and
Party
three.
is trying to
No,
fight again.
yeah, three.
Okay.
And a child.
Okay, so 4.
Who peed his pants, by the way.
Yeah, right?
He did.
He did. I saw that.
He did. Like in mouth.
And the woman who is, I think, Jen from Arizona Patriots, or one of the other people there with the group that was Arizona Patriots, don't forget, that's who they were with, said, I saw that. I saw the child pee their pants.
Yeah.
Cuerpo de trompo.
Plus, if you notice, Paloma was on the Mexican side of the border. Once again, they jumped the fence, those barriers, that's the border, went and harassed this migrant family and the child in the migrant family. And then for the camera shoot, and they went over and they basically debriefed and stood there on both sides of the border talking about what they did. And the whole time she's still on the other side of the border. And I'm thinking, well, You jumped the border right there, lady. You're complaining about these people crossing the border. You're crossing it too. You don't have the right to do that the way you're doing. And again, the other night I said the same thing. It's not your job to go jump borders and to push people around. You're not an immigration agent.
Oh, Kim Libby, you are so observant. Let's go deeper into what you just said, Kim. Paloma picked on the kid, but let the adult man go. Yes, she did. Very noticeably so, right?
Yep.
It's almost as if this was something she had planned to do. She was not going to do an adult man, which also unacceptable. You shouldn't be assaulting people, period. You should not be assaulting other people. That's not your job. That's not her job. She has free speech rights to be against immigration in this fashion. She has the right to object to these people, even to say whatever to talk at them or in their direction. But she does not have the right to assault them. She does not have the right to assault them. So the fact that she specifically chose to assault a child is very important, because she chose to do something that would be seen as disgusting and reprehensible to everyone, including hardcore conservatives who see through. I've had a lot of people attack me because I said that children are being recycled, that people's heartstrings are being pulled on purpose, so that when you, as a conservative, say, look, we really do need to find out whether or not these kids are traveling with their parents, or if they're being, we're going to have to DNA test them or something, people can look at you and go, you're a monster. How dare you insinuate that these people are traveling with kids that aren't theirs? Because we know that they are. So it's those kinds of things that when you say something is like so egregious, people lose it. Okay. Sell My Body for Trump has a message. Duke, no. Yes, David, I saw Trump, even though all I do for the Latino Hispanic community is sit in a dark car and talk about a New York woman and a New Jersey man via Walmart Wi-Fi. Also, thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your support.
Definitely.
I appreciate it very, very much. And this is how she was supposed to be seen in the media. Remember, this video came out in June.
Yeah.
What day is it today, Duke?
September 29th.
It's practically October. So let's just say it is. June, July, August, September, October. Wow. You wanted people to be outraged about Mexican Trump supporters. Was she wearing a MAGA hat in the video? Probably. It was very clear that she is a supporter for Trump. Her dang name is Pendeja for Trump, right?
Yep.
So we know that she wanted to be branded as the woman that made the little boy pee. She wanted you to know that she assaulted a child and that she made him pee his pants. Remember that I told you that she was the reason used by Maria Mesa, the famous woman that ran through the tear gas with her twins, so they could get expedited asylum into the United States. Thank you to Paloma Zúñiga. She's the one that got that. Why? Because she was the big, bad, scary monster that did these things to migrants. Notice she tried to do it while she was working with Oscar. Notice she tried to pull a guy down from a wall?
Yeah.
Notice she was trying to do it while with the group Arizona Patriots. That way, you kill two birds with one stone. You kill two birds with one stone. Because you're going to be branded as the person that assaults migrants, but so is the person standing next to you.
Yep, exactly.
Like Oscar, or the Arizona Patriots, or Anthony, or anyone that is a conservative that she gets close to, that she can smear with her pigeon poop. Her Paloma poop.
Yep.
Because that is exactly what goes on with this woman. That's what she does, right? And don't forget that there is a not one, but many cases against Paloma. Restraining orders, court cases, trials. And this particular picture, which was taken by Paloma Zuniga outside of the San Diego Police Department, is a selfie. Remember the one Alexa talked about where she said that she files false police reports, false restraining orders, false claims, uses other people, coerces other people, bullies other people into filing restraining orders? If you're my friend, then you're going to want to stop this person that's harassing me. You're going to try to help me. You have to file this for me. The ends justify the means. Right? When in reality, she does this for fun, to screw with people. And to prove that, here's the picture of her outside the police department. This is her going to file a police report against someone. Does she look like a victim? Does she look like she's distraught? Does she look like she is concerned for her safety? No. She's smiling. She's sending this to her friends at the time. It was Alexa, to say, look, I'm going to screw this guy over.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and file this thing against him, and it's going to make him have to waste money and time and have to travel here and there and go to court and be here. I'm going to make his life miserable. This woman, Paloma Zuniga de Lint, who showed you her expired driver's license from 2015 on her social media, has warrants out for her arrest. The latest of which looks like this. Conservative Facts, once again, to the rescue, did this one video, which kind of covers it, so I don't have to. So I'll let you narrate and play the warrant video from Conservative Facts, giving full credit to them, as they are the ones that produced this video. Conservative Facts.
Okay, here we go.
You narrate, Duke.
All right.
If you have to
Paloma
rewind
for
or
Trump
pause.
on the run. Here is a warrant for her arrest for harassment issued 9/19/2019. And it's a still shot that's floating inwards. Will she be caught? Or will she hide in Mexico again? There's a close-up showing her name and address. How did she get this close to our president? There's no Paloma found on the guest list. And there's a selfie shot, video shot of Paloma and Trump. New Jersey Municipal Court 0772, that tells 9128 for those that want to look. There's the actual number of the court case at the very end there. Actually, I can read it out since it stopped. 0701 S2019128.
Oh, darn it. I kind of like how you did it. I never heard you talk that fast. You sounded like
an
one of those
auctioneer.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Are you all right?
I can't talk tonight.
Well, just we'll try to do more visuals then.
So, but the Paloma4Fraud has warrants out for her arrest, which means that you would think, right? You would think like, oh, well, if she tries to go through customs, or if she tries to go through to the White House, like they're going to slap her down and get her out of there right away. She would never attempt that. That would be crazy. Well, what if I told you the Secret Service did know and they let her in anyway?
Yeah.
What would you do if I told you? How would you feel if I told you that they not only know, but also other organizations that she works for, like Lexit and the Republican, what's it called again?
I don't know, some committee.
No, it's called the Republican National Hispanic Assembly.
Oh, okay.
That's a mouthful.
Yep.
The Republican National Hispanic Assembly. What if I told you that they have all received questions, complaints, comments about Paloma Zuniga, including the White House, on the day that she was there, and they did nothing?
Wow.
The only thing that's actually come out of any of these places is full defense, protection, and defense of this woman. Satan must have helped Paloma with that weight loss. Full Metal Mexican.
Yeah.
No, I think that's her. The way she looks in the video is how she currently looks now. And Angie, good question. I'll get to that in a second. Let's see. What is your opinion about Anthony doing the same thing? I never saw Anthony push a child or make anybody pee their pants. Did I miss something? Send me the video of Anthony physically assaulting someone, because I never saw that. I saw Anthony videotaping people with a group from a militia, which, you could argue in a carry state like Texas, open carry state like Texas is, being out in the desert where they know that there are literally drug runners and cartel members and things like that. And they were carrying weapons with them. They call themselves conservative, a militia of some name I can't remember right off the top of my head. But as far as I know, he was filming, asking people questions, interviewing people. But I don't recall. Again, correct me if I am wrong, Angie, that he assaulted any migrant, much less a child, or that he made anyone pee their pants out of the sheer terror that he caused them. If I'm wrong, let me know, okay?
Yeah.
Telling someone not to cross a border, telling people that what they're doing is pointless, useless, costing us money, egotistical, that it makes you angry. You may think it's mean, especially saying to someone, go home, or, don't do that, or what are you doing, or whatever. But my point is, it's not the same as assault. They're not even in the same neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Talking and physically putting your hands on not the same thing.
Exactly.
I use my Photoshop for my pictures. You're just jealous like the males.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You guys are so funny. Big Troll. Big Troll is in the house. Big Troll is in the house. United Constitutional Patriots. Yes, Brandy. Thank you. Big Troll says there's no comparison among Panzona for Trump and Anthony. None whatsoever. Exactly. Thank you. And nor is there between her and any of the other conservatives that she was around. I mean, think about it. There was no comparison. So, I'm sorry I'm eating just a little mashed potatoes.
You got to eat. Everyone's got to eat.
Yep. I haven't been able to eat very much the past 2 days. So, trying to keep myself alive over here, guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? This woman had a warrant out for her arrest, and people knew about it in the White House at the time that she was there to see the president. They did not care. That's the question you should be asking yourself. Why don't they care? Why don't they care? Why is Paloma acting? Why are the people in Lexit acting like this is okay with the White House? My grandma always told me, listen to what people are telling you. When people tell you what they're doing or what they are, believe them. The president personally may or may not have known, although I really don't think that they're going to let someone stand next to the president that became viral the day before without a single solitary soul in the White House knowing that Paloma Zúñiga de Lint went viral on social media, especially with Mexicans, as a child assaulter, as a migrant child assaulter, without someone saying to Trump, Mr. President, you might, forget about the warrant. Forget about the warrant. There's nobody on this man's staff, which is replete with media experts, with what's it called? Public relations, marketing, everything. I mean, what is the president's background besides business?
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment. How has he made his mark on this presidency? Social media. Isn't it even specifically Twitter? Yeah, it is. So how, in the sweet baby Jesus, does nobody know that this Paloma4Fraud is hated by anyone associated with Latinos right now? The answer is they all do.
Yeah,
they have to know.
And that's really confusing. I mean, it's like, because I was thinking, why aren't they, why are they letting her in? Did she just get a fake ID and a fake name? But it's like, no, she was all over Twitter, just viral on Twitter the day before. So they knew who she was, and they allowed her to come and stand right next to the president and vice president and other public officials, someone who's wanted by the law. I'm thinking, you can go to the White House if you're wanted by the law, and they ain't going to do anything. But you're coming up with analysis that's deeper than that.
Yes, because there is an analysis that needs to be done that is deeper than that, and I'm going to talk about it. Now, I want you to remember that Paloma4Fraud was operating along with people from the smuggling operation. She is close friends with the woman Sonia, who turned out wasn't Sonia Vargas. She was Christina something or other. Mm-hmm. She knew how much money Sonia made for crossing individuals. Probably because she was helping her. She was getting her cut. And do you remember around the same time that she was there with the Arizona Patriots, what she did in the very next day or two? Paloma and Jen of the Arizona Patriots, they went over the border to Tijuana. Mm-hmm. And do you remember where they went? They went to the Border Angels shelter in Playas de Tijuana. The same Border Angels that said, Hugo Castro, one of their activist leaders, said, as he walked around haranguing and harassing agents of immigration in Mexico and the National Guardsmen who were asking people for their IDs, that they never let anybody into their shelter, that they keep that thing padlocked, that's why they don't let people in. That's the shelter they went to visit. You remember the Border Angels people, mm-hmm. right? Well, that Hugo Castro has a page he and his wife frequently post on. I've shown you what they post about and who they post about, which includes the crooked lawyers from Al Otro Lado and the LGBTQ leadership of Diversidad Sin Fronteras. But they're also posting now about Paloma4Fraud. Take a look. Because you know that when the smugglers, the people working with organized crime like Hugo Castro and Enrique Morones, with Hollywood ties, with cartel ties, with all of these things, that is one of the goals of this propaganda. Because they've had this footage since June. This story is 5 months old. That's not the news. That's the olds.
It's the olds, yeah.
Why is it surfacing now? Why is everyone, including the smugglers, that let her into their shelter like it was her own home, along with Arizona Patriot Jen, posting about Paloma for Trump. Why are they specifically posting about Paloma for Trump? Have you noticed, those of you who've been watching my shows for a while, okay? Have you noticed that the only time Pendeja for Fraud is mentioned by these activists and the leadership is in the context of her having been the reason why they had to get someone out of Mexico? It is the stupidest reason for them to be able to claim asylum, because this national woman can simply drive over the frickin' border and harass them in the United States. So if the basis for Maria Mason, her kids' expedited asylum, an asylum that she could have sought in Mexico but needed to seek in the United States, was due to the fact that a Mexican by the name of Paloma Zúñiga de Lint was harassing and threatening them, then why is she allowed to cross into the United States? Mm-hmm. Why would they make that claim, knowing that this woman can cross the border, as she did in this case, to go into Mexico to threaten and harass people? Do you not see the spectacle behind all of this? This is a spectacle, and it is benefiting the program that these people on the left, that these people are selling. They used a woman who dresses like a cheap escort and works very closely with human smugglers, and Twitter and the world buys it. But you know who buys it even more? Mexicans. People in Mexico. Check out this other post of theirs in which they also mention in Cultura Migrante the Arizona Patriots. Here is their post about Jen and the other Patriots that were there. Very closely together, they're posted on Cultura Migrante. Again, the page of one of the leaders of Border Angels, the guys that run the Border Angel shelter on the border of Playas in Tijuana. That Jen, the woman in the middle there with her gun holstered, you can see on the side there of her hip, and with the black hair, and Paloma4Fraud were allowed to go into, no problems, no questions asked. They were given the red carpet tour of a shelter that other conservatives, including Oscar El Blue Ramirez and many other reporters in that city, are not allowed to go in. Nobody's allowed to go in there. But you would think that least of all, the last person on earth that they would allow was a woman that just days before, the day before maybe, or even maybe on that same day, had been caught on film long before Twitter made it viral yesterday or the day before. It was published and broadcast in many locations that she pushed a child and made him pee his pants. I know, because it was sent to me long, long ago. Mm-hmm. Nobody in the media did anything with it. Did you see any of the people from Border Angels talk about that? The people that let her in? Paloma into their shelter? Did Hugo Castro, did Gaba Cortez, did Enrique Morones say anything? Did any of the people from Al Otro Lado say anything? Did you notice any of the people that are from the Border Support Network that are continually coming on my show? The Antifa, the anarchists, to come on and attack me, to send me threats that they're going to hurt me, my family, or sue us? Do you see them doing the same to Paloma? No, never. Because she has never posed a threat to them because she works with them.
Yep, exactly.
For some reason, that doesn't seem to bother this White House. I don't know what that means. I think that you could infer a lot of things, but I'm going to show you what I think in a minute. Let me stop for a second to answer some of your questions and interact, because this is After all, a super chat. If Nancy Pelosi finds out Trump may get impeached, you're all jealous if you report me. Oh, my God. No. Now that the danger slipped through, President Trump has to be told. Yes, Diane. And there are a lot of people that want you to believe that it is either pointless or that there's already a lot of people taking care of it. So don't bother sending your concerns to the White House. Don't bother sending your complaints to the White House. All I can tell you is not enough people have complained. Not enough people have tried to make people aware. Not enough people have held accountable those who are in charge of or who own Lexit, which I believe to be the Republican National Hispanic Assembly. I think that they are the ones that are responsible for Lexit, purchase Lexit, own Lexit, manage Lexit, etc. And that Lexit also needs to be held accountable for what they allowed in the White House next to the president. But I mean, I don't think it bothers them too much because of their own personal backgrounds. Right?
Right.
Big troll, Gene Faraon Padilla lends out his bicycle, whoever wants to ride it. Full Metal Mexican says, fun fact, I have a pedestrian warrant for my arrest in California, yet I'll be traveling to D.C. next week to meet up with the delegation from 9 counties. And guess what? I was invited to the Casa Blanca. Really? A pedestrian warrant isn't the same kind of warrant that this one is, though, Full Metal Mexican. And I can't tell you more about it, but what I can say is that this should have stopped someone from going into the White House. This type of warrant should have meant more than it did to them. And also, the fact that she went viral for assaulting a child migrant. That is a public relations nightmare. Why did they allow her to... No Republican on my feed right now can say that they applaud or support Paloma or anyone pushing a migrant child, assaulting a migrant child, making them pee their pants. I mean, nobody is okay with that. Right?
Right.
We know that not only are Americans disgusted with her, but Mexicans as well. Why would you want to put that hatred of conservative Latino people and have people in Mexico misalign, misperceive, and connect Trump supporters that are Latino to Nazis and to people that push children? Why? It would be something that the president would immediately want to disavow, especially from someone selling hats that say Paloma for Trump. It would be something that his PR people would want to tell him to stay away from because it is so toxic to his brand, to his real appeal to conservative Latinos. But instead, what we see is that the day after she goes viral for pushing a child and making him pee himself, is that they put her next to the president.
Yeah.
And I believe that is either a form of intense sabotage of the president's image, of his pull with Latinos, that this woman that is definitely working with smugglers on the left, on the political left, and with socialist agendas, to stand next to the president and smear his name and smear his image.
Yeah.
And if you think that's okay, if you're not concerned with that, then don't do anything. But if you, as a conservative or as a person of color conservative or as a Latino that supports the president or that is a conservative Republican, and you don't want to be associated with that type of image, and for the president to be making a video or taking selfies with that woman the day after she went viral for assaulting an immigrant child, saying while he's pointing at her, she's a good one. That's what he said. That is not a faux pas. That is a public relations nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to be in the middle of it.
No, and it's like, that's why it was so confusing. I'm like, what is happening? Why is this happening? I was flabbergasted, but really put it in the context of she's really working, she's double agent, pretty much. She's really working with both sides. Whoever the highest bidder, she's going to go there, because that's what she's driven by is the money,
Think about the other people that she is very close to, that she has slept with or that she has been close friends with, like Joe Vival and his wife. Joe Vival's wife is said to be, I'm so sorry, folks, I've been really sick and haven't been able to eat much.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Vival's wife is said to be a Black Lives Matter activist and is a black woman who is married to a self-proclaimed Nazi, a Mexican Nazi, Giovanni Valle, otro que se hace pendejo. And who, if exposed for the poop show that they are, go listen to the interview I did with Alexa, them working on a political campaign. They practically shut down the town and lit it on fire.
Yeah.
You should not have, if that is not a perfect example of why this woman should not go, the whole crew of her friends, that whole crew of people should not have gone anywhere near. The president, I don't know what is. They are chaos in a bottle. They are. Paloma is. Everywhere she goes, she causes damage. So, why did they let her into the White House, even though they knew? Let's dig a little bit deeper, okay? Let's see what else people are saying. Unfollow Lexit and then ex-gang member and con Paloma. Lulu, thank you for bringing that up. Their ex-gang member is, I think both of the guy in the wheelchair and the other guy are both ex-gang members, right, Lulu? Help me out, folks. They're ex-gang members. Full Metal says, if I get to meet the president, I will try to show Trump this, but I have told it will be 5-minute meet and greet, and then we are pushed out the door. Mm-hmm. Well, keep trying, folks. Keep trying to get it to him, to Ivanka, to DJ TJ, to anybody within the administration, to report it to the White House Secret Service, report it to anyone in the administration, anyone in Congress that you can reach, that you can tell about what's really going on behind the scenes. People need to expose her real connections. Have I seen Mac exposed? They also did some videos on exposing Paloma. What's sad, I remember watching when she made that scene. Yeah, I remember watching it too. But nobody talked about it until now. Kim Libby says Secret Services to do background checks on everyone that comes close to the president, and they know, Kim, they know. They know. They know, and there were other factors. I can't really talk in great detail about what I know, but I can tell you that the Secret Service did know. They're looking further into the situation, which is to say this is not over.
Huh.
But I will also say they knew when it was happening and they didn't feel that it was necessary to keep her out of the event. They didn't feel that it was a threat or something bad for the president, which I think is crazy.
Yep.
I think that they underestimate, misunderstand, didn't have the patience to analyze how much of a threat she really poses to other folks. But let me remind you who she's connected to. I showed you she's a friend of Sonia's. I have more evidence on that I will be providing you, but she was friends with a woman that she knew to be a human smuggler, and she knew how much she made. She covered for her in her shows. She took donations to people that were going to be crossed by the human smugglers like Sonia, so that they could stay in the street and struggling, while at the same time she complained about them staying in the streets. But Paloma was funding them so that they could stay there instead of going to the shelter where they were supposed to be taken care of by the government. She was also going over to the shelter where the people were taken care of by the government and hanging out and talking with the right-hand man of the terrorist, Guerrero Ulloa, crying and hugging him. I showed you a lot of weird things this woman has done, including not translating the part where the Korean photographer that took that famous photo of the woman running through the tear gas had provided her a tarp and purchased food for her. And she glossed over that little bit that would make most people think, after Paloma had asked, they didn't give you anything or tell you to pose for those pictures or do that, did they? Because a lot of people thought they were staged. And she goes, no. I didn't even know that the Chinese guy was taking my pictures. And then later on, she says he bought her food and he gave her a tarp.
A canopy.
A canopy, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
But Paloma does not translate that, because that would show clearly there was some quid pro quo. They were looking after her. The people that took her pictures, the people that brought her tents, the people that brought her donations, they weren't just tripping on her. They came to find her. They'd been watching her and following her, supporting her, and they were all part of these organizations like Families Belong Together, Minority Humanitarian Foundation. I showed all of this to you in the past.
Yes, you have.
She was one of them. I've showed you all of that, and I now remind you of how she went with Jen. In the days that she was with Arizona Patriots, Paloma went, and after pushing that boy, after she pushed the boy and made him pee, she took the Arizona Patriots to Tijuana to this shelter, run by none other than the Border Angels, the people connected to organized crime and the cartels in Mexico. And they walked right in like it was their own house. Check it out.
Should we just like... Yes.
Nobody's undocumented. Nobody's illegal.
Yeah, this is stolen land.
I know.
The Migrante Shelter. Look at that flag upside down.
Such disrespect.
Yeah,
They
what?
have a marking of a wall, see? Of a brick fence.
Oh, it's locked.
Why? It should be open.
Right. Walls are immoral. Look, wall, and then our flag upside down. It's absolutely. Translate.
He wants to know if you want to go in.
Sure. Can you want to give us a tour? Can you give us a tour?
He said, yeah.
Can you give us a tour?
Yeah.
Hola.
Let's go inside.
Let's go. Come on, Mikey. You're my buddy. Come on, you're my bodyguard. Yeah.
You're crazy.
I know. We've done crazier things. Motorcycles. Hola.
Where are we?
Let's go inside.
Let's go. Come on, Mikey. Can you give us a tour? It's absolutely. Translate.
He wants to know if you want to go in.
Hear this. She walks up to the door. The guy is kind of hovering around her. Pay attention to what's going on here. The dude that you're going to see opens the door for her and is standing there smiling at her. This big grin. He says, Mami, ¿quieres que te lo abra? He doesn't say señorita, which clearly she's not because the señorita is a virgin, a young lady, a young woman. You would call a señorita anything, you would, well, a girl, you would call her a girl, like joven, youth, we say. People that don't know you in Spanish, I'm sorry to give you a Spanish class right now, but I want you to be able to understand why this stands out to me as a Mexican crossing lines, because you may have missed it. You may have missed it. Lulu says, tailed, he did his time and he has nothing. Hi. Oh, you guys are talking about somebody else, aren't you, right now? No, Paloma. Broadcaster. Hi, Baldy. Somebody put that in there. I know you put it in there for me to read. Or maybe she's saying hi to Baldy, but I think it's funny, so I'm going to read it in here. She says, excuse me. Tell me what he said in this clip. The Jen asks, what did he say? And she doesn't translate it correctly. You know, maybe she didn't want to say the part where he addresses her directly as mommy, rather, which is very familiar. Like, that's how you would talk to a hooker. Or that's how you would catcall a woman that didn't want you to catcall her. You would have to be very familiar. Now, sometimes women call each other mommy, which is like a term of endearment, like, you know, your mother or your relative is somebody that you consider to be like a mother figure or a relative, or somebody that you consider to be a close friend. Mothers also call their little children mommy. Their little children, sometimes mamita or mommy. Because it is a term of endearment, but it's a very intimate one, which is why random stranger man doesn't say it to a woman he doesn't know. For sure, you don't say it to a woman you don't know. Especially you don't say it to tourists. If you meet a person that's visiting from another country and clearly he is with an American, if Jen is speaking in English and saying, can you translate what he's saying? He knows this woman. All of that to say, he knows her because he says, ¿Quieres que te lo abra? She doesn't even have to ask. And she made a point of telling everyone on her video where she's like, oh, big deal. I went into that. I didn't even have to ask. He asked me. I didn't ask him. Well, that's freaking weird, don't you think? You didn't ask to go inside the shelter that is padlocked from the outside, but there's somebody waiting like you're in freaking Willy Wonka world, and they go, you want to come inside? Check it out. We'll give you the tour. Like, come on, folks. Think about this. Okay, who am I supposed to investigate? Baldy? Oh, my God. So insignificant on my list of things to do right now.
Yeah.
Honestly. Listen again. Pay attention. You're going to hear him refer to this woman who supposedly he doesn't know, which he is offering to let inside, unlock the padlock and let her go inside. Mommy, you want me to unlock the door for you? You want to go in? Listen.
There's absolutely.
Mami, ¿quieres que para quedar?
Translate.
Did you hear that? Mommy, ¿quieres que te da, da, da? Rewind it a little again. Listen for the word mommy. That's the most important part. Listen.
Mami, ¿quieres que para quedar?
Translate.
Did you hear that? Now let it go. Let it go.
He wants to know if you want to go in.
Sure. Can you want to give us a tour? Can you give us a tour?
He said, yeah.
¿Qué?
Can you give us a tour?
She goes, he said he wants to know if you want to go in. He wasn't talking to her. He wouldn't address that other woman as mommy. Oh, in Spanish. And speak to her in Spanish when she doesn't speak Spanish. He was talking to Paloma. The reason Jen asked for a translation is because she didn't understand what was just said. Okay, now watch. Watch how he lets her in. No problem, no questions asked. Come on in.
Hola. Let's go. Come on, Mikey. You're my body. Come on, you're my bodyguard.
No te pasa nada.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
I know. We've done crazier things. Border cycles. Hola.
Where are we?
We're in the migrant shelter. Why not? Why not?
It's locked from the inside.
Oh, it's locked from the inside.
Yeah, you had to come and open it.
No, they were right.
No, he had to come and open it.
Guys, if we don't come back,
If we don't come back, you know where we're at.
you know where we're at.
Send the FBI.
How about you guys just go to the doorway right there
Okay,
and see
you
what's
stay right
inside,
here.
and I'll stay right here
Yes,
so
you
this door
okay,
stays open.
perfect. I like that.
But don't go inside there without
I got you. Why is our flag in the window upside down?
It's not.
Okay.
All right, translate for
Okay,
us.
so they let us into a... Buenas. ¿Cómo está?
Hola.
They let us into a shelter. They allowed us into a shelter right here by the border. Mikey doesn't trust us.
No, he doesn't want us.
Do you remember a Facebook show that I did right before the Alexa Superchat where I compared Lolly B, Laura Christina Livingston-Berger, one of the activists of this network that Paloma was constantly surrounding and working around and in the vicinity of, and shared a video of her crying for money, begging for money, getting people's sympathy so that she could get money. And then I showed you a video of Paloma talking about the woman she helped to get expedited asylum in the United States, Maria Mesa, and her 5 kids, and how they were kidnapped by coyotes that pretended to be from a church. But they actually were coyotes. And then the coyotes, Maria Mesa stayed with them, of course, because, you know, coyotes are fun, until they, and was willing to cross over into the United States with said coyotes that pretended to be from a church. But then all of a sudden they told her, you know what, we're going to cross your children first, and then later we'll come back for you. And then she was like, you know what, I got to bounce. So she had to leave, and she had to leave everything behind. She couldn't bring a single thing with her, because that moment the coyotes became like the it clown, and they started running and running. They ran for 2 hours. Her and her 5 kids ran for 2 hours straight. That's what she said, Duke.
I remember that.
That's what she said. That was her fantastical story. And she managed to get money out of Mary Tando, Quintanilla, and many other people.
Yeah.
Through her lies, through her frauds, through her stories for people and animals. Don't forget about the animals.
Yep.
Don't forget
Don't forget.
about the animals. And folks, let me just say that these 3 people that run this shelter, that run that whole block, lest you forget, are closely tied both in Hollywood, in Mexico, celebrity, and in United States celebrity, as well as with organized crime. Remember the story of Enrique Morones? Here he is with Hugo Castro and Gaba Cortez, husband and wife. They got a baby together, which was baptized by the guy in the middle, the executive director of their organization. See, they're like family, and they're also very tight with Father Solalinde, one of the priests that helped move the caravan and now accuses Pueblo Sin Fronteras, the arm organization that works with border angels, of unscrupulous human trafficking and smuggling. But these folks, they always deny their ties to organized crime. You may recall that Hugo was kidnapped in 2017, disappeared for a long time, resurfaced, and everyone was very tight-lipped about what happened to him.
Yeah.
And remember that I told you that Father Solalinde knew about that incident, participated in the incident, unbeknownst to anyone in the media, and that he also knows that they were together. When Hugo was said to have been missing and nobody knew where he was, that was actually a lie. Irineo Mujica of Pueblo Sin Fronteras was with him and giving interviews to the media, lying to the media and saying he didn't know what was going on with him. He didn't know where he was. Didn't know where he was. Maybe he had bipolar attack. Maybe he did have a bipolar attack. And then later, when asked, both Gaba, the wife, and Irineo Mujica of Pueblos Sin Fronteras said, "We never said he had any mental illnesses. We have no comment on where he was." Bye.
Yeah, really.
That's it. That's what happened. These are the same people that put on the narco wedding at the border. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. These are the same people that helped put on a narco wedding at the border in 2017 when the U.S. Border Patrol was facing a crisis of public relations to look better to migrants and to Latinos, and they wanted a facelift. So they worked with the border angels to have this lovey-dovey story of arranging this wedding where they opened this international gate of friendship so that they could have the marriage right there on that border entry. Except it was a narco working with organized crime.
Wow.
That brought in hundreds of pounds of meth and heroin and God knows what.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
Story? But we're supposed to believe that those folks from that shelter that Paloma went into, who are now promoting the propaganda behind her story about going viral, about pushing a migrant 6 months after it happened, and the very next day, she is in the White House with David Rubio Basilto. Here they are celebrating a night of a lifetime. They are together and they are having fun at the White House. How does that happen? David Basilto got into the White House. I believe he too was in a gang. Here his White House picture facing out the wall. And he's got a meme that says, "People laughed and called me crazy for supporting Trump. They said he didn't care about me or Latinos. Well, who's laughing now? I'm in the White House with President Trump." I don't know if I can honestly believe in my heart of hearts that President Trump or the people in his administration are so naive that they would allow an organization like Latinos for Trump or like Lexit or like the Republican National Hispanic Assembly to be represented by former felons, people that have been harassing, that have warrants out for their arrest, that have literally made people from the conservative Latino base that the president does have walk away from politics altogether because of Paloma. Not just because of Paloma and other people in Lexit that people have reached out to on numerous occasions and said, "This representative that you have," here's one of the posts that show that she's one of the representatives. "Paloma4Trump is Mexico's ambassador. Welcome to the team." Lexit. Or this post that says that they're promoting a book where she speaks on the Declaration of Independence. I don't think that pendeja knows anything. With Marco Gutierrez from Latinos for Trump. Or this post where she is doing a live stream at a rally on behalf of Lexit from their platform. Folks, there is no way in my mind that I believe that the president would want people that are known to be currently under multiple warrants, to be currently Twitter famous for assaulting a migrant, that are simultaneously uniting people from the conservative base in Mexico and the left together against a common enemy in this hateful Paloma4Fraud, who they want to loudly yell to the tops of the hills they do not align with and they do not want to be represented by. This is that moment in time when every single Mexican, every single Latino, every single person of color, be they from wherever they're from, are going to go, I'm going to stand up right now and say, I have nothing to do with that monster. Don't compare us. We are not the same.
Don't include me.
Don't include me in the conversation. That's what Twitter was saying. That's what all the Latinos in Twitter were saying. That's what all of the people in Mexico were saying. By the way, I saw many more stories about this in the Mexican media than I did in the American media. The American media, and especially Latinos in America, were kind of ho-hum about the whole thing. That's weird.
Yep.
That's weird that there was more interest in this story, more of a push for everyone to know who Paloma Zúñiga de Lint was in Mexico than it was for people to know about her in the United States, where even though she did have a very large following of almost 80,000 people, she is largely nondescript and probably gets confused for a bunch of other Latino women because people think that they all look the same. I am just being 100 with you.
Yep.
Like, I'm just being legit honest with you. People are going to care, especially in Mexico, a lot more than they do here. And let me tell you that the Republican National Hispanic Assembly posted on their page about the visit from Latinos in the White House. That pendeja for fraud is probably in that picture somewhere.
Yep.
They know, and they have not so long ago been contacted and told that pendeja for fraud extorts, defrauds, lies, harasses, attacks, stalks, bewitches, we've recently learned, and many other things. Not just Americans, not just conservative Americans and Trump supporters specifically, but also Latinos for Trump. There's not a whole lot of them. But whatever amount there is, she is hell-bent on destroying their brand, the image, and their partnership, their unity. And so are the people in Lexit. This is what the RNHA of California had to say to somebody complaining. Somebody said she's not the person to represent the proud American Latinos for Trump. And they responded that I'm aware of, as chairman, the chairman of the organization responded on Messenger to this person and said, Paloma4Trump is not affiliated with any positions. She does work with Lexit. But the RNHA runs, manages, owns Lexit. So they should have a say in what happens with Lexit, but they chose not to. And the person that is here commenting to our NHA says, thank you. I'll submit my concerns to Lexit. Well, let's find out. Do you know who the president or the director of Lexit are? And this person responds, David Basulto, Jesse Elgin. Person says, thank you. Proud of America, who support this country. Have a wonderful Sunday. Bye. End of comments.
Yep.
So, Basulto, Olguin are Lexit. These men are Lexit. This is what Basulto, not the one before that. This is what Basulto and Olguin of Lexit.
We just finished that one.
Oh, they're the ones. Okay, I'm sorry. This is what Basulto responded to a person making complaints about Panzona for Trump representing Latinos. You're ashamed, Latino representante.
Yeah.
You will see this conversation public. Okay. Ma'am, he says, my family works for the Department of Homeland Security. At the very top, as you could see, it was David Rubio Basulto. That is the person that the Republican National Hispanic Assembly said is at the head of Lexit. And this is how they treated a Latino that supports the president And I know for a fact that this is just one of many, many complaints made to Basulto. Probably to Jesse Holguin as well. This is how they treated those folks. And he will tell you himself in the messages you're about to read. He says, ma'am, my family works for the Department of Homeland Security. They're the ones that actually deport people. Why is deport in capital letters? So
it's a
I'm the
noun.
wrong person to come to with these complaints. What do you make of that? What is he saying there? My family works for the DHS and they deport people. He's talking to a Latino, but I'm assuming it's American Latino.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the wrong person to come with these complaints. That sounds like a threat.
Yeah.
Like, hey, my family can have you deported, so
Yeah,
I would
I
shut
just
my
watch
mouth
it
if I
here,
was
you
you.
know. It wouldn't bother me too much.
Am I wrong here?
No, I don't think you're wrong at all.
Okay, I need to drink a little bit more tea real quick. So let me read some comments and take a break for a minute here.
All right.
Also, thank you everyone that supported us today. And I hope that you're understanding a little bit more about what's going on with this Paloma4Fraud. And this is what the rest of that text says. After the threat, the person says, ha ha. They're laughing in Spanish, so it's like ja ja.
Yep.
Jaja. You're threatened me? This is getting more interesting, mister. You're the shame of Americans. And he says, oh, I'm not threatening you at all. Yeah, you did, David. You kind of acting thuggish. Is the time that you spent in the gang coming back?
I think so.
Anyway, he says, it was nice talking to you. And the person says, well, it would be nice if you can ask your family if they know so-and-so. Be careful. He might be your family's director at work. And so this person name drops somebody in their family, maybe, I don't know, that works at the Department of Homeland Security or who above him. I don't know. But this person says, no, my family member, they're above a director level.
Huh.
So he has people in high places. Don't mess with him. If you complain about Paloma to him,
Yeah.
he'll have you deported.
Deport you.
Mm-hmm. And this other one that he does, Basulto basically tells this person to stop complaining. So they sent Basulto a post where this Paloma4Fraud claims that Michael Shapiro is stalking her. And, you know, I think it's part of a larger complaint that was sent to him about Paloma4Fraud. But you can see it's about Paloma.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And, oh my God. Here's what they said afterward. Y'all need to stop derailing the super chat, talking about Oscar, talking about other things. I brought my fragile voice and my sick body onto this platform to tell you about Paloma4Fraud. So pay attention. My moderator, where art thou, my moderator? I've been watching Cindy for about 6 months, but I did go back and watch, read, and listen to everything she and Duke did. I have a lot of respect for their work. Thank you, Lola. I appreciate that. I'm trying to explain some things right now, which are really important, and I want people to stop talking about Oscar. We are not uncovering crimes of his or of Anthony's that they haven't been prosecuted for, that hasn't already happened in a long time ago. We're talking about current crimes and current crimemen. If you are here for that, can I get an amen?
Yeah, amen.
Let's all work to get this exposed. Okay? Give me some pound your like. I have a surprise for you guys coming up. I can't tell you about it. I have a big surprise.
Tonight?
Not on the show.
Oh.
No, I was going to give folks something, but, I was like, look how late we started.
Yeah.
And the reason why we started so late was because I'm sick. We've been working.
Plus the story was developing, too, all day. I mean, when we talked this morning, it was just what we knew from yesterday. But we had a whole day ahead of us for more information to come in. So by the time it hit, dinner time, you had a bunch more information to process and had to make decisions on what to actually say. It was going to be just a short check-in on, and let's how does everybody feel about this. But you started getting more and more and more. And that's kind of typical of what happens every day.
Mm-hmm. But it's trolling, deflecting, Cindy. Hi, Baldy. Cassie K. Thanks for your support. Thank you very much. You give us life. You made me feel so good when you put something funny in like that. Hi, Baldy. Oh, I have surprises for you. I want to share them so badly. I've had surprises.
Brad's in the house.
Brad.
Oh, Brad.
Thank you, Brad. I love you, Brad. It's typical for someone in a chat to attempt to distract viewers from the truth you expose. Been watching it happen for 3 years. Thank you, Brad.
That's true, Brad.
Testament from Brad.
Yeah, he's been through a lot with us.
You can see that a lot of the folks that are veterans to my show will tell you that just like Paloma4Fraud showed up in an important place, so did the people that put Kathleen Bennett in jail. And it was infuriating when they were like being interviewed by The Intercept or hanging out at the UN or prancing around in Washington, D.C. You remember that, guys?
Yep.
It made so many people disheartened. And I'm telling you, it's part of the same tactic. Thank you, Melissa VC. It's part of the tactic to deflate those Latinos, those conservatives, those people that know. And I've never called myself one. But those people that know that what this president is doing right now to stop this loophole of abuse in immigration policy is what is needed to protect innocent people, even the victims of the smugglers who are willing, like Maria Mesa and like so many of the other people. Thank you, Sherry, for your support. And so what I am telling you is that there is an agenda. Sometimes they overlap. Sometimes it's geopolitical. Sometimes it has just to do with Americans and what's going on in the White House. But sometimes it has to do with Mexico too, doesn't it, Duke?
Definitely.
Doesn't it, Duke?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of times. And also it's one thing that you've been doing that's really helped me a lot is making the connections what's going on in Mexico. Because
that's the national panelist behind you.
Yes, I'd like to be there again someday. Hope I can go there soon, But it's like I've actually been there in the Zocalo at the National Palace 5 times. Since I got with Cindy, 10 years ago, we got married and proposed to her in Mexico actually, and been going back to see her family every several years, and sometimes we have 2 or 3 years when we can't go, but I'd like to get there again. But one thing in this Paloma and all these issues with the migrants, my inability to speak Spanish and read Spanish hinders my understanding. But I have cultural understandings that I've developed over time by, living with a Mexican family, being married to a Mexican woman. And so your shows, Cindy's shows, which I'm part of too, these shows, our shows, have given me an insight and understanding of kind of what Mexico feels about their nationality, about their president, about the PRI party, about, when AMLO ran the last time. I remember when he lost and there was voter fraud and things like that, but he didn't decide not to challenge it and let Peña Nieto take office, and understanding some of the Mexican history and their conquerors and, dictators and stuff they've had before the Mexican Revolution, so it's very important to know what Mexico is feeling about this.
Yes, it is.
And Mexico is speaking up.
Yes, Mexico is speaking up, and Mexico has something to say. Thank you, Betty. I am working on it. I was just taking some oregano oil.
Yeah, that can make you cough.
It makes me cough. I was just taking some oregano oil from Swan. Says this stuff is really strong, and this bottle is empty.
Oh, boy.
I have to go get the other one in a minute here, or I could just tell Lizzie, could you get me the other oregano oil, my dear, my love, please, sweetheart? Melissa VC If I didn't thank you already, I want to thank you now. Sherry Kelly, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate your patience with us today. Honestly, I didn't plan on doing this, but like I said, I thought it was really important for you to hear what is really being said about Paloma for Trump, what the propaganda is. First, you need to understand the message of the propaganda, who it benefits, and who's using it. Just like when you follow the money, you find out where the people that are controlling the message are coming from and what they want to do, what their goal is. In this way, you can find out. So this is a screen capture from a YouTube that was posted on social media that is going viral today. Well, it hasn't had many views yet, but I guarantee you, I'm going to be a prognosticator here.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that it's going to be all over Twitter by tomorrow. It just came out. In fact, when I saw it, I was like, dang nabbit, Duke, get everything ready. Fire up the office.
Fire up the show. We got to do a show.
Like, yeah.
You're
like,
supposed to rest all
shoot.
day today, not do a show, you know?
I know. You told me that. You're like, you're supposed to rest today, and we're supposed to, like, rest. I'm like, but when I saw this one thing, excuse me, guys, I was like, that's it. I'm getting out of bed, and I'm going to go and do this. And notice that on the YouTube channel of the anonymous Bakersfield, it was the one before that you took down.
That one right there. Okay.
No, it was the one before that you took down. No. Now you're just, the way down there.
Okay.
Way down.
There
yes,
there
there we go.
It's
just leave it on there.
hunting and pecking on that, boy.
That look at the hashtag on that. Domestic terrorist. This is about Paloma, folks.
Okay.
Just in case you were wondering what the hell this video is about, it is a message, mensaje a Paloma for Trump. This is for her. It's got her full name, Paloma Zúñiga de Lint. Now,
All right.
I need you, like you're going to put your finger on the trigger of a gun.
All right. I'll stop and start.
Stop and start this video as I translate it for my audience. Okay?
All right.
This is the video that came out, and you know that Anonymous was at Standing Rock, and you know that people like Terrence Daniels, who we showed over and over again as a fraud, is also part of Anonymous Bites Back. And you know that we saw anonymous people involved in a lot of ops since Standing Rock. Mm-hmm. So these folks are now doing a special message to Paloma Zúñiga de Lint, who became famous mostly in Mexico on Twitter for pushing this child. Here's what they had to say.
No, se regresan o nos agarramos entre todos. Se regresan. Let's go get them. Let's go get them.
Either you stop or we'll catch you amongst all of us. Stop. Well, let's go get him. She keeps saying, vámonos, which is get out. Like vámonos, but she's just leaving off the V at the beginning. Vámonos. Get out. This is in your country. You gotta leave. No. Look at the other people just walk by. Pause it. Notice that the guy and the woman that are walking by, just slow this stuff down sometime and analyze it. There's 4 or 5 people coming up, right? Those 2 people, one of them, she's like kind of shading her eyes from the sun, shading her face from the cameras. They know there's cameras all around them. The guy looks over at the girl. They kind of stop for a minute to pose for the picture. Like, they know they're supposed to be part of this confrontation, but Paloma has focused on the child. She's like, I'm going to assault the child in this group. So she doesn't even pay attention to them. So they stop on their own. They could have just kept walking by, right? But they stop on their own. Like, should we stop here for her so that she has a chance to decide whether she wants to come back and attack us? No, it doesn't look like it. It looks like she's stuck on the kid. Let's go. Like, that's what happened right there. Watch it yourself and tell me you don't see that. And then she keeps walking after the kid after he goes by. He's left, and she says, this isn't your country. And then she just walks away
If you're so excited to be in America.
toward the cameraman.
What do you got to hide from?
She starts walking toward the cameraman.
Saludos, somos Anonymous Bakersfield. Este es un mensaje dirigido especialmente a Paloma Zúñiga del Int y a cualquier otra persona que la defienda y le apoye.
Hello, this is Anonymous Bakersfield, and this message is directed at Paloma Zúñiga del Int and anyone who supports or follows her. What is it? Like, supports her, basically. Anyone that aids her or supports her.
Como vieron anteriormente, Paloma detuvo ilegalmente a personas inmigrantes que estaban cruzando la frontera en busca.
As you were able to see a moment there ago, Paloma Zúñiga illegally detained people that were trying to seek asylum in search of a better life.
De una vida mejor. En busca de una vida con tranquilidad y fuera de los narcosecuestros y femicidios.
A life that is free of the kidnappings by narcos and the femicides that are
Y demás sucesos horribles que ocurren en cualquier parte de México cada día.
or any of the other horrible things that happen in any part of Mexico on any given day.
Paloma Zúñiga del Int, sabemos muy bien quién eres y cómo empezaste.
Paloma Zúñiga del Int, we know very well who you are and how you got your start.
Estamos en todas partes. Tu historia define muy claramente cómo son los hispanos que apoyan al nazi.
Your story define clearly what the Latinos are like, those Latinos who support the Nazi,
Nazi que está de presidente en la Casa Blanca.
who is the president in the White House.
Nos referimos a Donald Trump. Empezaste acostándote con hijos de papi millonarios.
We are referring, of course, to Donald Trump. You started off, then he starts off into her history. You started off by sleeping with the sons of rich men.
Que viven en Hollywood para así no trabajar honradamente y solo ir
Millionaires in Hollywood, so that way you wouldn't have to find honest work and
de paseo y comprarte cosas.
spend your time traveling and buying yourself things.
Pasaste de hijo de papi a hijo de papi hasta que te topaste con uno que con solo satisfacerlo sexualmente se conforma.
You went from rich man's son to rich man's son until you could find one that you could satisfy sexually, and that he was, he was comforted or happy enough, compliant with that.
Como contigo. Empezaste a presumir tus cosas caras, tus viajes y carros de lujo en tus redes sociales.
You started to brag about your money, your trips, your beautiful things on social media.
Hasta que se te ocurrió en ocuparte en ir a eventos y protestas que apoyan a tu nazi, Donald Trump.
Until you began to go to the rallies and protests that support your Nazi Donald Trump.
Y con ello empezaste a atacar a la comunidad hispana y a aliarte con grupos racistas y con racistas que apoyan a Trump.
And with that, you began to align yourself with racist people and hate groups that are allied with the Trump administration.
Hasta que hiciste lo que hiciste en el vídeo que ya vieron anteriormente.
Up until the moment that you did what you did in the video that everyone just saw.
Creíste y actuaste como una agente de la patrulla fronteriza e hiciste que esos inmigrantes se devolvieran hacia México y
You acted like you were an agent of Border Patrol and you made those migrants return back toward Mexico.
forzándolos a irse, atacándolos
Abusing them to return, attacking them,
verbalmente, diciéndoles que se devuelvan a su país de origen.
physically attacking them, telling them to return to their countries of origin.
Que este país, Estados Unidos, no era su país. Tú no tenías ningún derecho de
Telling them that this country, the United States, is not their country. You did not have any right
hacer eso ni ningún permiso legalmente a hacerlo.
to do that, nor any legal right to do that.
So Paloma Zúñiga de Lint, te tenemos en la mira. No solo a ti, sino también a tu esposo o novio o como le quieras llamar.
Paloma Zúñiga de Lint, you are in our sights, and so is your husband, boyfriend, or whatever you want to call him.
Sabemos bien todos los lugares a los que vas.
We know exactly all of the places where you go.
Sabemos bien cada paso tuyo. Te prometemos que ni tu hijo de papi te protegerá de nosotros.
We know all of the steps that you take, and we promise you that not even that rich man's son will be able to protect you from us.
Estamos en todas partes. Te conocemos, y tú no a nosotros.
We are everywhere, and we know everything about you, but you don't know anything about us.
Felicidades, tienes nuestra completa y total atención.
Congratulations, you have our full and complete attention.
Somos anónimos. Somos legión. No olvidamos.
We are anonymous. We are legion. We don't forget.
No perdonamos.
We don't forgive.
Paloma Zúñiga de Lint, esperadnos.
Paloma Zúñiga de Lint. Expect us. And then, and I'm not going to play this because it is super long, there is a video that accompanies this. This is very interesting, okay? If you thought that was interesting, it's about to get more interesting. God help me, please get to the super chat.
Yeah.
Oh, and Elizabeth is ignoring me. Oh, she heard me this time.
Okay.
Oh my God, I need more oregano oil. And can you heat up my tea? And also, can you heat that up?
Sweetie, that's the new stuff right there.
Huh? That's not the new stuff. I promise. Oh, wait. That's the new stuff. This is the old stuff. You should probably take this away from me because that's empty. Okay. Talk about what you just saw. Just for a second, what you just heard.
Oh, man, that was like...
claiming that Gene Faraón is rich.
Yeah, the rich man's, and also to be on the sites of any anonymous group is... Part of me's laughing. Like, how's she going to spin this one? Anonymous doesn't exist in Mexico. Yeah, they're anonymous, if you know what I mean.
This in Mexico?
What's that? You're over there doing oregano oil. It makes it so you can't even speak, But also, it's, I don't have that much respect for...
Exist in Mexico, though.
Yes, of course. That was a joke.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't know that, anonymous,
Anonymous.
But, it's they're at Standing Rock, and I've watched them do a lot of stuff where they don't actually come through with their threats.
I know.
That sort of stuff. I was disappointed in Anonymous a long time. The movie V, that was good, But then it was like, it was Anonymous, doing something. But I really haven't seen them do a lot. But, when they go after individuals, I'd be scared. I'd be scared if I'm being named by them. It's like, ooh, watch out. Watch out.
Full Metal Mexican. Anonymous says, Anonymous are not to be messed with. They went after the Mexican drug cartels when one of their own was kidnapped and held for ransom. That's not what really happened. Okay? That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
And one that I am not going to go into, but I can tell you I have some knowledge about that, and that's not how it went down.
Okay.
It's not how it went down, which is one of the many reasons why I think a lot of these anonymous people are just clowns. They're part of the circus act. They're part of the circus act and the spectacle that these people like Paloma are creating for you. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In the wrestling match, there's always a guy that's like in Spanish we call them the técnicos,
Okay.
the technical guys,
Yeah.
and the rudos, the guys that are rude, right?
Oh, yeah. The ones that play dirty and the ones that know how to do the stuff.
Right. And people root for both of them.
Yeah, and the dirty ones,
People
They
root
get
for
in
the
a
dirty
punch,
ones.
and-
People root for the really good ones. Hulk Hogan would have been a technico.
Oh, yes.
Follow the rule follower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Full Metal says, I used to support Anonymous until they sided with Antifa.
Oh, okay.
Now you understand what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're understanding me. I don't think that all of Anonymous and all the people that have been part of Anonymous were on board with the propaganda of Anonymous, are on board with the direction Anonymous has taken. Okay? I mean, I wanted to get excited too, but until I started to until I started to follow what they were supporting and who they were supporting, then it starts like being a little like, Colleen says that only QAnons support Antifa. That's her understanding. Well, there's a lot of Antifa involved in the Border Support Network. And guess what? Right now, everyone is going to join in unison against their common enemy. Let me show you something. This is the anonymous, a second clip from that video. I'm only going to play a tiny clip. It's a rap song by a group, a Mexican music group that hails from La Piedad, Michoacan, one of my favorite cities in Michoacan, and which says who the rap is directed toward. The rap that was used in this video by the anonymous Bakersfield group, which, by the way, is speaking in Spanish from Spain, and which is addressing specifically Paloma Zúñiga de Lint, is using a music video from a known music group, a rap group in Mexico, from Mexico, in their video with whose permission? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I sure as hell can't get away with that on my YouTube channel.
Exactly.
But they are. Makes you wonder, because that a lot of these people in the smuggling operation work with up-and-coming new artists, rappers, actors, actresses. Who told you that? A Mexican Crossing Lines.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this video. And the video comes from the new album of Mexor, a group that is writing about the history of Mexico. This rap covers from 1810, from the Mexican independence, all the way. It covers battles and events like Cinco de Mayo, the Alamo, the Revolution, and more. And on top of all of that, it is a call out. It is a call to battle for Mexicans. It is part of the words of the national anthem, Mexicanos al grito de guerra. Mexicans, lift your voice for war. Like, we're going to war. Okay, that's what it means. That's what the song says, right? Mexicanos al grito de guerra. That's the first line of the Mexican national anthem. And that's what this is called. So are you starting to see who the messages about Paloma being viral on Twitter and subsequently being congratulated in a video by somebody representing Lennox or Lexit, excuse me?
Yeah.
I'm so tired, dude.
We got a lot of show left. Let's get it going.
Represented by Lexit, who that message is for, the President Trump standing next to her going, she's one of the good ones. The day after she assaults a migrant in a video by Anonymous saying they're coming after her, calling her a supporter of the Nazi president.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very curious.
Yep.
I think it's very, very curious that this video is for the Mexicans, because I think that was the audience. That those pictures, those videos in the White House right now are supposed to infuriate most of all. Because I can guarantee you, I'm starting to think more and more and more and more and more and more that the people that are paying pendeja for Trump are definitely on the Mexican side of things. Okay? I think they're on the Mexican side of things and maybe part of AMLO's administration, even. Possibly. Because they do pay people. Why, recently, I learned that there were all of these riots taking place where people dressed as Antifa in Mexico were destroying property and monuments and burning things. The last riot that happened like that in Mexico City happened when Paloma4Fraud was in Washington, D.C. Same time.
Yep.
Just happened. Same time, same day.
Yesterday.
Yep. And guess what? The people of Mexico were fed up with these caravans. There's no sitting on the fence about the wall in Mexico. There's no sitting on the fence about the migrants or the caravans or humanitarian aid or asylum seeking. No. They saw it with their own eyes. They witnessed what happened. They saw people making giant piles of trash, making all of these different crises, fighting with police, lying that they were being mistreated, all of these things. And they went, nah, we don't have time for your nonsense. We don't have time for your bull. And then Twitter was hit with this video of Paloma4Fraud. And suddenly, all of the Mexicans are in unison. Now they have a reason. Even Republicans that are Trump supporters, even Republican Trump supporters that supported Paloma saw the video and they threw up in their mouth a little bit. They were, but interesting. It is interesting, Lola. It is very, very interesting that the message from Anonymous isn't aired. It's a freaking Bakersfield. The guy saying Anonymous Bakersfield in Spanish to the Mexican can't even say Bakersfield. But Bakersfield Anonymous are the ones making the threat to Paloma. You're going to get doxxed. You're in trouble, Paloma. Watch out. And in the second clip that I'm going to play just a little bit of this rap song that they used, which shows the entire history of Mexicans fighting against the common enemy. They talk about who this message is directed at. Listen to the first word in the litany of countries that are coming here. Let's listen.
Estadounidenses, japoneses, españoles y franceses ya han probado de nuestro coraje.
Estadounidenses, españoles, ingleses, franceses ya han probado de nuestro coraje. Americans, estadounidenses. Americans, Spaniards, French, English, you have all tasted our rage. That's what it says. You don't have to play any more of it. That's all people needed to hear. I just wanted you to know this is a very Europeans and Americans beware.
Wow.
This is a very like, hey, white folks, stay the F out of Mexico. I thought this was about Paloma Zúñiga, a Mexican-born racist, fake Trump supporter that is giving a bad name to Latinos for Trump legs it. Anybody that is a conservative, nobody that's a sound-minded Latino or a conservative would want to be compared to that piece of trash. Pendeja for fraud. And anybody that would care to preserve the president's brand should know that, does know that. He has the best people working for him, both in PR and in marketing and in campaigning to Mexicans, campaigning to Latinos. The very best people that money can buy are working for him, and know that. You think they missed that in Mexico this message is being sent far and wide? They're even using musicians and rappers that are known to Mexicans that have this video alone. The music video that goes with this has nearly 1 million views already.
Wow.
And you're going to tell me that nobody in the White House took that into account? I don't believe it.
That's right.
I just don't believe it. Look at what Twitter had to say. This is the message that Mexicans united under. Look at what they're saying. Somebody that we know that watches our show, I think, I've seen her before anyway, says, wow, you're now famous for shoving a child trying to cross the border. You must be so proud of yourself, Fraud Loma. But look at what the Mexicans saying. Look at what the people that speak Spanish, or look at what people are bringing up even in English. Her name, Paloma Zuniga, born in Mexico. Her name, Paloma Zuniga. She was born in Mexico. A Mexican-born idiot called Paloma Zuniga with her Mexican ass name yelling at people at the border to go back to Mexico. Some people get papers and lose their humanity. Okay, that, by the way, is pretty standard for what a lot of the people, especially those who are of Mexican descent, whether they're born here, as I am, an American citizen, or they're born in Mexico, whether they have dual citizenship or not, they're all like, she was born in Mexico. Mm-hmm. She does not represent Mexico, and she does not represent Latinos in America or conservatives for Trump or any other party. She does not represent Latinos. Latinos do not want her representing them nowhere on the face of this earth for any reason. Not just because they find Trump gross or because this propaganda is trying to tell all of those who had the sense in Mexico to start defending Trump and saying, you know, we want our president to be more like Trump. At least he's protecting his country, the economy of his people, and he's putting America first. We should be doing that. We've been living in poverty for 6 decades. We've had half of our population in poverty, and more than at least half of those in poverty are in extreme poverty, most of whom are children. This is something that's chronic to Mexico, endemic to Mexico. And now we're giving refugee status to a bunch of people, housing, fares, jobs, resources that you don't have for Mexican people. Yeah. What the hell? Those people are now uniting under the common banner of hatred for Trump supporting Latinos. Do you see that they're pitting Mexicans against Trump supporters or Republican Latinos? Well, they're making us fight each other. And I don't know. I would like to believe the president wants no part of that and is not allowing that to happen and is not on brand with that. But I do have some ideas about that as well. Here is the Mexors video from their own YouTube page. It's called Mexicanos al Grito de Guerra. That's the official video, as you can see. It was only published in April of this year, and it already has almost a million views. Wow. And this is their official Instagram. It doesn't look like they have much of a social media presence, and they haven't been around for long. When I said up and coming, I meant up and coming. There's 305 followers on this page. Yeah. But if you scroll through their Instagram, you'll notice, They put their albums on there. The latest one is the one that you see, Mexicanos El Grito de Guerra, there in the middle.
Okay.
And then if you scroll down, you'll say on their official page, they have 20,000 subscribers. It's actually more like 40,000 more now. So their numbers are still climbing, but they're very patriotic, as you can see. They're considered to be a very patriotic group. The kinds of songs that are talking about are historical, God and country. There's some of the hashtags, Mexican patriots, etc., etc., etc. So, why is Anonymous a very much leftist, anarchist-connected organization that we saw at Standing Rock that we know has supported ops having to do with the people in the Democratic Socialist Party and with the Border Support Network, now doing a hit piece on Paloma Zúñiga, who's a Mexican-born person that people know in Mexico, and using this video, this band, and this patriotic song to Mexicans. What are they trying to trigger in Mexicans? They're trying to pit Mexican patriots against American patriots that are Latino especially, that are Trump-supporting, MAGA hat-wearing conservatives. That is on the horizon. Remember I told you about it here first.
Yep.
Remember I told you that this would come because of what she is doing. The question remains for you, is the president on board? I think more than likely it's impossible. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
But why would he do such a thing?
Exactly.
Well, this is a tweet by a Roberto Valencia. What does he say? He says he's posting the video of Paloma4Fraud. Excuse me.
And how unfulfilling and sad your life be to do bleep.
Poop like this.
Like this.
That was the original post from So Mexicans.
Yeah.
And So Mexican is retweeted by Roberto Valencia, who says she is a faithful Trump supporter, a faithful ally to Trump, Morales, Hernandez, AMLO, and Bukele. Okay, folks, let's talk about that. What that means is that he is putting all lumped together the presidents of the Central American countries of Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Mexico, and President Trump. That's what he just said.
Yeah.
Why would that be? Well, folks, this is $1 billion smuggling operation. Okay? The president is a businessman. Let's just think about this for a second. I know he says he doesn't like human trafficking. I know he doesn't like illegal immigration. But let's be perfectly clear. There is going to be a certain amount of crime that happens. Some people will say that. Some other people would say that there is a certain amount of crime that is allowed to happen. Some people say it's because of corruption. Some people say that the law of supply and demand will always dictate that we will always have illegal drugs, that we will always have illegal, smuggling of people and weapons and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right?
Right.
And in Mexico, in Central America, in other countries where where people are more poor and the corruption is more enticing to poor people, there is more corruption. But that does not mean that there is not corruption in our country.
True.
That does not mean that there are not people that are going to make money off of this windfall of migrants shelling out anywhere from 3, 5, 8, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, even $50,000 a head and counting and climbing as we get more extra continental people coming from Africa, coming from Afghanistan, coming from all the different places that they're coming from right now, because they are. They are. And the prices keep going up. That's a lot of money to be made. Is the Mexican president looking away, looking haciéndose pendejo, like pendeja for fraud. I didn't notice those people.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He did it from the very beginning. The Mexican people were well aware of this. I did a show on Alfabeto Noticias not too long ago. Yep. He is a Mexican reporter. And he shared with me audio clips of Marcelo Ebrard's wife, who's a Honduran national. And Marcelo Ebrard's wife was guaranteeing in a WhatsApp chat that these migrants used to coordinate themselves with the smugglers and with the organized activists from America that were bringing them through Mexico and into the United States, that she could guarantee them safe passage because her husband works for AMLO's administration and they're on board with the caravans. If you understand Spanish and you want to go and check it out, Beto Alfa Noticias is the channel on YouTube. It's got about 80,000 followers. And you just go through the different shows and look for the one where it says Marcelo Ebrard Esposa. The wife of Marcelo Ebrard, who's come to negotiate with President Trump on tariffs or not having them because of the migration. I got very upset. I went on television. I went on radio. I talked about the tariffs. I said, why doesn't he put up or shut up? I mean, why does the president keep threatening to do things that he never does?
Exactly.
Anybody ever thought about that? Because it's the titillating push and the pull of he's a tough president. He's not going to let this trafficking happen. It's not going to be allowed. Meanwhile, a lot of people seem to be getting away with a lot of stuff that he's not stopping.
Yeah.
Which he could with the stroke of a pen.
Yep. He didn't stop.
He could.
Didn't stop Paloma from coming in.
Nope. He could have stopped. He could have stopped a lot of stuff. Like he could have stopped Paloma from going into the White House, dude. But he didn't. But let me tell you that when the tariffs were threatened, which was a big show of force and might on the part of the president, AMLO then held a unity rally to show his fraternity to the United States and to also rally the people in Tijuana, specifically in Tijuana. Remember Paloma4Fraud was there and she got drunk?
Oh, yeah.
And people threw food at her. She went and made a scene there too.
That's right.
At that unity rally. So that people could see her being an ass on behalf of Trump in Mexico. She brags about it constantly. I was at this rally for President AMLO, but I was wearing a Trump hat just to make the Mexicans mad, and I did.
Yeah.
I trolled them hard. They threw food at me. It was super scary and impressive, and Oscar didn't protect me because he doesn't like women. It's like...
Yeah, I remember that.
She went to every effort that she could to piss people off in Mexico on purpose, just for the culmination of this moment here, for the moment you are living right now.
Exactly.
Because everyone's already gotten an inkling. She's already been in this news story and that news story and the other news story, and they're all the same. Somebody pushed me down at a rally. I was there. And I went to a rally that's mostly for people that don't support ICE. And I'm so brave.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm so brave. I went by myself.
Yeah, and I remember that one where she got in a fight with the brown beret, and the cop said to her, she says, I have my free speech. And he says, yeah, you do. But you also have to use some common sense.
She doesn't have any of that.
You know, it's like, don't go into a middle of a place where people are going to want to beat you up just because they have free speech. They're going to beat you up.
They don't beat her up.
She fakes it.
She fakes it, and she fell down.
Yeah.
She tripped because she's wearing those hooker shoes everywhere she goes. And she tripped. It's going to happen from time to time.
Yep, that happens.
But if I'm wrong, please send me the video. I'd love to laugh at her tripping.
Yep, exactly. See the whole thing.
If you can find the video of her tripping, I would love to laugh at it. So please send it to me. So I want you to think about the possibility, because this is what I'm seeing. And I said this, and I've said it for a while. I am the kind of person that holds people accountable to what they say. The president has said he was going to put tariffs on these people if they didn't bring down the numbers. That's not what this all started off as. I thought you were going to close the loophole, Mr. President. I thought you were not only going to close the loophole, I thought you were going to bring these people to justice, that you were going to prosecute people like Scott Warren working in tandem with the smuggler Irene Mujica. I thought that you were going to prosecute, extradite Pueblos Sin Fronteras, expose these Mexican-American activists like Paloma4Fraud and others like her, like Pitaya Queen, and so many others that needed to be exposed for their complicity with the smuggling operation. And instead, the president says, Mexico's doing great. We just signed an agreement with El Salvador. We signed an agreement with Guatemala. We're doing great with them. Everything is doing great. We're doing great. The smuggling operation is just about to ramp up again in October. Yeah. Remember my prediction?
Yep.
I told you it slowed down because of the weather. Mm-hmm. It always slows down at that time.
Too hot.
Because people die. It's too hot to try. That's why people were throwing themselves in the river. They didn't want to hang around at the border. That's why all of these border activists hightailed it to different places. Lolly B, by the way, did you know Lolly B's in Hawaii now?
Really? How'd she get
right
there?
after we told everyone where she was going to Tijuana, she's like, bye.
Oh man, that's interesting. Yeah, I thought she was setting up shop again there in Tijuana, and it's like she must have went to Burning Man recently, and then and now she's got to go have another big party. There's one happening in Hawaii. Mm-hmm.
But she couldn't help pay for an attorney for any of those poor migrants.
Yeah, that's right.
She's too busy traveling around the country.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? This is what ends up happening. The president told everyone that if they brought down the numbers, he was going to give them a time frame, and if they could manage to bring down the numbers, guess what? We were not going to do the tariffs, and we're not going to force Mexico to be a third safe country. Yeah. What happened? Mexico's essentially become a third safe country anyhow.
Yep.
The Supreme Court has given the right to Mexico and the United States to make people wait for their asylum hearings in Mexico indefinitely now. So that loophole is essentially going to be closed. But in the meantime, smuggling of people, trafficking of people, and illegal crossings into the United States will continue. Mark my words. Yeah. No one that is making money hand over fist in this smuggling operation wants to close shop.
No.
Nobody does. Nobody is going to. I don't know what kinds of kickbacks the American government or what kinds of things they tolerate. The American government, I know in Mexico, they turn their head the other way all the time. They even call the Mexican governments that have existed narco governments because they know that they're really run by the narcos, not the presidents. I don't think that's changed for Mexico. I think people aren't as naive there to think that, under AMLO, that's not happening. No, nobody believes that.
Yeah.
But the reality is that Americans need to wake up to the possibility that kind of money, that kind of power, and that the geopolitical posturing being made by AMLO, who is friends with Trump, who is friends with the Central American presidents, the deal that they made, whatever it was, may be part of what Trump is supporting. I have to ask myself that when I look at it all together. It may be part of what Trump is allowing and or supporting. Because after this whole period of time that the numbers have gone down, all President Trump has been able to do is literally spew all of this love for the president of Mexico and all of the great things he is doing and praising him night and day and praising the Central American presidents.
Yep. And
guess what? The Mexican people are pissed at him. The Mexican people on Mexican Independence Day, September 15, in 20 or so cities, I can't even remember how many, protested in millions to impeach him.
Wow.
To impeach the president of Mexico. Did anybody here report that?
Nope.
Did the president comment on it at all? Nope. And now you have a Mexican citizen, a Mexican-born citizen, working closely with all of these people connected even to organized crime in Mexico, selling the propaganda agenda of AMLO. He wants everyone to hate any conservative, especially any Latinos that support the president's agenda, so that they will be censored and silenced. And those of us who are Mexican American that actually know that all of this stuff is hogwash, that would stand up and say it no matter what party affiliation we have, because we've lived on both sides of the border and we know that Paloma Zúñiga is full of shite, so that we can be censored and silenced immediately and called Nazis. That's what all of this is for. That's who it's benefiting. And it's working like a charm, especially to Mexicans, especially for Mexicans. So think about that, because the president knew about her going viral. I guarantee it. Yeah. Someone on his administration had to. And they decided, you know what? Let's take the picture anyway.
Yep.
Somebody in Secret Service knew. I know for a fact they know. I know for a fact the Secret Service knew when she was there and decided not to arrest her.
Wow.
They decided not to arrest her.
Great.
So, who is protecting her? Why are they protecting her? Why did the president and his administration allow this to happen? I think we should all be asking those questions directly of those organizations, including the administration of this president. I think we should be asking Lexit. I think we should be asking the Republican National Assembly. And I think you shouldn't stop sending your messages, because everyone, including and probably especially Paloma, would like you to believe it's being handled. Nobody's going to listen to you anyway. So just forget about it and stop. Don't ever stop. We didn't with the Kathleen Bennett case.
Exactly.
We kept going for over a year. Yet hammering it. And we finally broke the case wide open, exonerated Kathleen, reunited with her family. And we won that case. So we believe we can achieve this goal. We just have to know what's really going on around us. And to that end, I want to share with you something. Remember I told you I think that she's getting paid by people in Mexico?
Yeah.
I used to think that her family, because she keeps talking about how her mom, her daddy's dead, but her mom lives in Pennsylvania and her family, she has family in the United States. I think this is her mom. In fact, I had it confirmed that this was her mom. This is her mama's Facebook page, Concepcion Zúñiga Espinosa. And here is her mom now, or recently, in a selfie. What do you think? She look like her mama?
Yeah.
She look like Paloma?
She
does, doesn't she?
Yep. I can see that.
And here's her daddy. This is Papa Zúñiga.
Huh.
And Concepcion, who is the daughter of both of these people, I'm assuming, says, my dad was the pioneer for all of the Zúñigas that are now living in Sonora. He was the first one to migrate from Baja California to Sonora. After that, he started bringing his brothers and sisters that had stayed behind. First one he brought was my Uncle Jesus. A man of good heart, they continue. He never let those down who were his brothers and sisters or his cousins, especially his mother, Miss Carmen, Doña Carmen. Gaspar and Fidencio, a bunch of different names there.
Yeah.
He was a person that was very beloved and respected, always surrounded by family and friends. He had a lot of defects, like all humans, but he was a very good person. That's interesting
Yeah.
that they say he had a lot of defects, like all humans, but he was a good person. This is the more current picture of mom. She's wearing an Indian headdress, and I don't know. There's some kind of Indian in the background, so maybe they're at a
Wild
I
West
don't
town,
know, a Wild West town or something. And here is another picture of her. This is a picture of Paloma when she was a child. I just thought it would be good for comparison. There's her as a child, and this is her mother when she was young. That's the mom when she was young.
Oh, yeah, I can see
Show
that.
Paloma. This is Paloma as a child. And this is mom when she was young. And you know how I know that Concepcion is the page that this picture was taken from is the mom of Paloma Zúñiga?
Oh.
Because Paloma Zúñiga once posted this picture of her mom on her social media page.
Ah.
You guys remember that?
This
Do
one right
any
here?
of the people that used to be Paloma following? Yeah, that picture right there.
Huh.
She posted that picture of her mom. I don't know if her dad was in the picture, but on her social media,
Okay.
she posted that picture of her mom on her social media. She's since deleted it. But those who remember the pictures that she posted on her social media, including the little picture, the picture of herself as a little girl that I just showed you, which again, she has since deleted. You can find this picture of the mom on the Facebook page that I told you about. I didn't see the picture of the little girl of Paloma, but anyway, the mom's picture. Yes, you do. And she has said she does not like her mother. She doesn't speak to her mother. Her mother's in Mexico with her.
Wow.
The mom doesn't talk to her. She doesn't talk to the mom. God only knows what they've done.
Yeah.
Here is the family of a woman who must be now, because this is big in Mexico, must be mortified. The entire family must be mortified.
Yeah.
Because everyone that would see them would be like, your daughter did something horrible. How can you not be ashamed? And I would like to speak to her if she is within earshot, if she wants to come clean, if she would like to tell me, if she wants to speak to me. Señora, si usted quiere exponer lo que hizo su hija, la relación que usted tenga con su hija o no tenga con su hija, si quiere limpiar su nombre, su reputación, no puedo imaginarme que usted esté feliz con lo que está haciendo su hija y lo que representa su hija. Si quiere hablar, aquí estamos. We're here. We're ready to talk to you if you want to talk. Folks, that's all I have for you tonight. I'm going to go rest. I hope this was super helpful. Thanks for being on my super chat. Thanks for sharing this.
Cindy and Duke signing out. Thanks a lot, everybody. Good show.